Welcome to the Talking Cities podcast with Matt Enstis and friends. Talking Cities is the place where we talk and investigate cutting-edge innovations for cities in America and beyond, featuring people working to create vibrant, healthier, and more sustainable communities and exploring the beauty and creativity in it all. On this week's episode, the BNMC Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Juweria Dahir, sits with Raquel Calhoun, CEO and owner of Calhouncustomcreations Bakery and Event Boutique. Raquel leads a registered New York State home based bakery in Western New York, specializing in beautiful, tasty, trendy, and custom cakes, cookies, and desserts. She offers a unique professional service for those seeking to add an extra spark to their special events. They have become a one-stop shop for cakes, bakes, and a reason to celebrate. Their mission extends beyond baking, as they are dedicated to spreading passion for celebrating life's moments. Calhoun Customs Creations actively promotes, cultivates, and collaborates with local small businesses, emerging entrepreneurs, and Buffalo's thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem. Their goal is to create a space for cultural creatives to learn, grow, and celebrate their successes, one sweet tooth at a time. Let's listen in to learn more about Raquel Calhoun. Welcome to Talking Cities.
Hello and welcome to Talking Cities. Your host here tonight is Juweria Dahir, Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. And I am so excited to be speaking today with Miss Raquel. Raquel is the CEO of Calhoun Custom Creations LLC. She is a phenomenal entrepreneur. She is a mentor. And she's a mother of 5 fabulous children. There is so much to Raquel, and we're going to get all into it. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, Raquel.
Thank you, Juweria, so much for that introduction. I am so excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me on today's podcast.
Awesome. Well, I want to know all about Raquel. I want to hear about your journey, your story, because you have just such an inspiring background. And talk to us maybe about how you got started.
Yes. So entrepreneurship is something that's fairly new to me. Over the last 2 years, I've really delved deep into the Buffalo entrepreneurial ecosystem, and it has so much to offer. So it's been extremely motivating for me, and it's what keeps me going every day, honestly. Prior to COVID, I was in the dental hygiene field, actually. So I was on the opposite side of pushing the sugar that I'm pushing now. And, life was lifing and things were happening in the pandemic, and in dental, that was one of the positions that was furloughed the longest throughout the pandemic. So I had a lot of idle time in my hands, regardless of the 5 children I have running around. At the time, it was only 3, actually. Okay. And baking has always been a passion of mine. It was always something that I would do. It was very cathartic. It was something that I would be enjoying for me and the children to do together, me and the family. It would bring us together. Mm-hmm. And it was something that I always really relied on as an activity to bring that joy to the family. So I just started doing it as a pastime, and it really amplified and turned into a demand. The people wanted it. My friends and families, word of mouth. I mean, they were just like, you guys got to have her stuff. And I'm like, man, if it's catching like this, like maybe this is actually a revenue stream versus just a pastime or a hobby. And I cultivated it into something that turned into a business. And it really started with that holiday season. So right after COVID happened, Christmas, it was tough. People were still in that lockdown setting. They wanted to find a way to kind of still celebrate with their close family. And you could always do that around desserts, right? Yeah. So
Would you say then that you've always had that entrepreneurial plug?
Yeah, okay. I'm definitely, as I look back into my past now, there were a lot of things that I did that just in a sense related to just being an innovator and being a cultivator and someone that has ideas and wants to implement them and share them with the world. So that's always been particularly a trait of mine for sure.
Okay. No, that speaks so much volumes. And so what role did your parents maybe have to play in this as part of your entrepreneurial journey?
My mom was always an innovator at heart too. Like she, of course, led the corporate 9-to-5 job just to hold it down for the family. Okay. But she always was very crafty. She always would, make our costumes for Halloween, and we would bake cookies every weekend. That would be our, like the thing that we would do to bond together. Okay. So I think that she definitely instilled those particular traits and the just emotional connections that you make with your friends and family around you around baking and cooking and food. So she definitely instilled that into me at a young age.
Would you say she's a good baker too?
She is. I mean, like the Christmas cookies came from her. Like I got a lot of the recipes came from her, and by proxy, my grandmother, so they're generational. And she definitely opened my eyes to that. And it's funny, I have two siblings, a brother and a sister. I'm the oldest of three. But one Christmas I was 14 and my brother was 10. And my mom was like, she was done with the cookies that year. She, busy year for her. She was working. She just kind of swore it off. She just didn't want to do it. So me and brother, we took it on. We made like 20 dozen cookies ourselves, me and him in the kitchen. And that was like my first real experience with like subjecting myself to being in a position to really spread my passion and joy with someone else. Like it was contagious and trying something new, right? It caught on. My brother loved it. We talk about it. It was a memory that we made that is instilled in our minds and ingrained in our minds forever. And the ability to be able to do that with my own children and, family members, friends, their children. Now it's kind of caught on and the brand is catching and it's getting contagious. People want to do DIY cookies. They want to just share in that experience.
Yes.
So
I know we took one and we loved it so much.
Yes,
because we haven't been able to buy something like that. It left no mess.
Good.
Able to eat everything. It was fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so
and the
glad.
color combinations were great too.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yes. Your kids had the paint your own cookies, right? Yes. That's awesome. And they really enjoy that too because it's like a tactile, but it's something that's fun and creative to do. And then you can enjoy it at the end. It tastes good.
Yeah. For any age. It doesn't matter what age, you can't go wrong with it.
Yes.
And I mean, you and I haven't really known each other for that long. I feel like I've known of you briefly, but you and I really connected through IC Success.
Correct.
And I'm so glad you joined the Accelerator program. Not only were you such an asset, but I think, post-graduation, you found a way to come back, not only as a mentor, but you've come and helped teach classes.
Yes.
You're one of our rock stars. So maybe through your entrepreneurial journey, can you maybe talk about why it's so important to find your niche, find a community or a program that you can be a part of, and perhaps why it was important for you to be part of IC Success?
Entrepreneurship has a way of kind of ostracizing you because it is so tough and there are so many elements to it and it seems over cumbersome sometimes. So you put yourself in this position like, how can I access all of these elements? And you can't do it on your own, right? You need inspiration, you need motivation, you need like-minded camaraderie and people that are going to keep you grounded in your element. And I realized very early on in my journey that I needed that. It was something that I actually required. It was going to keep me accountable. It was going to keep me grounded, keep me accessing the information that was out there. So I realized that programs like you offer here are so beneficial for individuals because it offers so much more than just surface level business experience and information. It really helps with personal development and it helps to keep you on task with your goals and what you have planned for the future. And when you bring people into that, it magnifies it.
Like you said, I mean, entrepreneurship is so isolating, and to be able to be part of a community that can, listen and support you along the journey, but also experiencing the same thing you are, that can be so helpful. What would you tell maybe for any listener that is starting to think about a business, like wanting to launch a business, or is in that kind of pivotal moment where they have a 9-to-5, but they're struggling with the business or the business idea because their family members or their friends don't seem to understand why they're trying to go towards entrepreneurship when they can just get a good 9-to-5. What advice would you give them?
Goal setting is so important, and like I mentioned, personal development, but also attaining to where you want to be and who you want to be in your life. And we are ever changing and evolving. So you could be in a current point in your life where you just want to try something different and you want to try something new, and giving yourself the faith in that, it strengthens your abilities, I think. And especially when you do it against the advice of naysayers and everyone around you that could be judging you or questioning whether or not you can take on something that you haven't done before. So I would say do it. If you have an idea, find a way to implement it. If you struggle with putting yourself out there, take small baby steps. There is always a way. When there's a will, there's a way. And I think that a lot of people that are in that innovator mind frame, they just have to tap into that willpower. Yeah.
And so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Spilling all the gems. And so with the holidays coming up, for those that are celebrating and just the new year, it's really just in the air. Tell us maybe some upcoming things that are happening, where they can find you, and perhaps if you can describe, because I know they can't see these cookies, but if you can just describe them, the baked goods that you made, what does it feel like when you touch it, when you eat it? Tell us about that experience. Yeah. And then we'll talk about the upcoming events that you might be able to see them.
So holiday season, this is the time of the year for baker businesses, and everyone loves celebrating during the holidays, and of course with sweets. So we
have
offer,
to layer up. It's that time of the year.
You do. Yes. But I offer an array of different desserts, mostly custom cakes and cookies. You can get designer cookies with holiday themes. I also offer cupcakes. I offer seasonal muffins. I offer, and my thing is it's artisanal. Like I really, really take the time and the research to perfect my recipes, make sure that I'm using the best ingredients, everything from scratch. Like I said, a lot of the recipes are generational, so they're proven. They've been around. They hit because they hit, time and time again.
Yes.
And I get tons of good feedback with everything that I put out. So I just continually to try to innovate new creative ways to do what I'm doing over and over again. So like we mentioned, we have a DIY, which is the do-it-yourself decorating kits. So that is an experience that families can join in together. It's a reasonably priced item. It's our custom cookies and designer cookies can get a little bit of expensive. They are a luxury item. So I'm trying to channel and find ways to find more cost effective items so that people can really enjoy what I do have to offer. And coming up, and for the holiday season, I do have a couple of vendor opportunities where I'm going to be out in the community pushing the sugar. And you can find me on social media at Calhouncustomcreations LLC, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And our website is Calhouncustomcreations.com. So you can also check me out right there as well.
Excellent. And you mentioned that you might be tabling at some upcoming vendor fairs. I know there's a ton of holiday markets, but can you also maybe just share a quick glimpse on the size of catering orders that you receive? Is it just for families that are placing orders? Is it a big company? Say if they're having a end of year celebration, can they place an order with you? What's your capacity?
Yes. I started off with being more of a B2C type of business. My consumers and my clients were the bread and butter, but honestly, it has segued into larger corporate orders, especially with doubling down and really finding these key partners out in the community. I See Success BNMC being one of them. They actually gave me the opportunity for my first large order, which was over 200 cookies. And I did that all myself. So that was an amazing experience. It really pushed me and showed me what I was capable of. So now I've taken on more of that. I did an order for UB. I did an order for Tech Buffalo. I really like aligning and affiliating myself with these larger corporations and non-for-profits in the community because it helps to spread the brand and the awareness, but it also gives me the ability to bring joy to these companies. Like they share it with all of their workers and everybody's able to experience something, and with it looking cool, like it's trendy. So everyone loves a trendy treat. And I do have an event coming up. I've also aligned myself with the Buffalo Niagara Partnership. They do really cool events for entrepreneurs and networking sessions. They have one coming up in Christmas where we're going to be doing a cookie decorating contest. So that's going to be really fun. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Cookie decorating contest. You know what? For any of our listeners, if you want a piece of that, you should contact Raquel.
Yes, it's going to be on my social soon. I'll be talking and plugging that a little bit more so that you guys can get involved with that as well.
And I'm so glad you mentioned brand because that's really one way of sticking out from your competitors. And so talk to us about maybe why it's so important to build a brand for your business, and how have you been able to build and establish your bakery brand identity, I guess?
It's all about evolution, like I talked about in the beginning. You have to give yourself the grace that you always have to start somewhere. A lot of people never start because they're afraid that starting point isn't the end game. And if you're thinking in that way, that's irrational thinking. Yeah. You have to start somewhere. So for me, it was mostly just getting the name out there so that people, that's why I put my name in my name. Calhoun Custom Creations, it's a family-based business. It's important. It's supposed to be for generational wealth. And I wanted to really establish that as a small, independently operated business, home-based bakery currently, but big lofty goals for expansion in the future, of course. I wanted to really make it that, grassroots type of ideology. And then from there, I realized that, you do have to have a brand identity. So you really have to start plugging, that's when you think of colors and palettes. I wanted the pinks to pop, but I also wanted the black to be the grounding, and show you the rootedness of the business. And then I started realizing that the partnerships and the people that you do affiliate with yourself are extremely important, because we are all out here to push certain initiatives and missions. And for me, it's spreading and promoting the joy of baking. And I really want to organically, it developed into me finding out about mentorship and finding out how I could benefit individuals around me. And that segued into a whole nother monster. It's this element that it derived from Calhoun Custom Creations, but now it's something so much bigger. Yeah. And I find that I'm able to it's really invigorating to work with other emerging entrepreneurs, other local small business owners that have that same, like you said, they're in the same place as you. They have the same drive as you do. And when you correlate yourself with individuals like that, it magnifies. It's something that's so contagious and it's so powerful. And I feel as if you continue to isolate yourself in your business, you'll never find growth. You can't grow. The business has to be bigger than you if you really want it to succeed. So really allowing yourself to accept that and then finding ways to embrace that is going to be the best thing for you. So that has been the best thing for my brand.
Good. I'm hearing a lot of positive words: perseverance, mentorship, cultivating relationships, and they're all connected, right?
Yes.
And I think cultivating relationship, it's really what you're so good at. I feel like you are a great connector. And when you foster those relationships, you stay consistent. Why is that so important, especially when it comes to closing a deal? I think sometimes for entrepreneurs, they can feel like it's not working out once they've made that first time connection. And it's important to make that second phone call and the third. And statistically speaking, sometimes it takes the fifth call to actually close the deal.
Yeah.
So why is cultivating relationships so important as an entrepreneur?
I've always had that level of authenticity in me that makes it very easy. It's naturally in the forefront. So the feeling, the emotions that are triggered behind it builds me up. It's my motivating force, and
it's a fire in you.
It is. And the fact that, like I said, it is contagious. So I try to bring people into that fold as well, because I want to see everyone succeed. I want to see everyone grow. I want, like, what's going on in Buffalo right now with this entrepreneurial resurgence and everything that's happening. Like, I want to be a part of it, and you should too. And the fact that I can show people the way, it's fulfilling. It's extremely fulfilling.
That's awesome. So give us some tips. There's I'm an introvert. For anyone that might be an introvert, I struggle with, I guess, just keeping my elevator pitch consistent, or feeling like I still have that imposter syndrome, like I'm not there yet, so let me not put myself out there. What tips would you give someone like that?
I had a mentor in the past that said we are all whips. Works in progress. And if you give yourself the grace to understand that we are all works in progress, no one is perfect, I think that helps a little bit. And it opens up a level of comfortability for you, even if you are an introvert, to know that there are other individuals that are struggling with the same things that you're struggling with every day.
So it's normal, you're telling us.
It is normal. Okay. It is completely normal. You're crazy if you don't think that it's normal. Like, we all out here living this life. Yeah. And it may not be in the same shape and form, but we are all human beings. So those, particular personality traits are prevalent in many people, and especially the people that you surround yourself, birds of a feather, right? So you have to have the ability to know that you're not the only one struggling with these things. And that just gives you, I think, a little bit more confidence to take that leap of faith and just put yourself out there a little bit more. And even just small baby steps. No one says you got to go and be the center of attention in the room, but just putting yourself in the room can motivate you to take that next step even further the next time. So
absolutely. So you've heard that advice. Get out, get into those rooms, find a way towards a connection. And when you do, you've got to cultivate them. So let's pivot a little bit. I want to talk maybe about what it's like being a mother also, because being a mother itself is a different beast. And to be able to combine that, I think in a way that you've done it so gracefully, bringing in your children into this journey. And I think your children see that in you, and perhaps they're also getting the entrepreneurial plug. So I want to talk maybe about them. Maybe can you share maybe their ages, what their interests have been, and how you're keeping yourself busy but also engaged in motherhood and your entrepreneurial journey?
Yes, my babies. I have 5. They range in the age of 14, 10, 8, 3, and a 1-year-old. I like to joke, I had 3 babies all in a row because I had my 3-year-old during the pandemic. Then I started a business, my baby business. And then I had another baby. So for me, that was probably one of the hardest testimonials that I can ever preach about my life. Yeah. It takes a lot of grit. It really does. And you have to constantly find that why, that reason, that motivating factor that you can rely on and fall back on every day. And if you ain't preaching that to yourself every day, that's where the inconsistencies come. And that's where it's hard to tap into that discipline that we all do have. We all have that internal level of discipline, but sometimes we're just so self-gratifying or just so, stuck in the mundane, everyday intricacies of life that we forget about it. So for me, that was the most important staple, especially with the children. They are a motivating force for me. And like you said, you mentioned them seeing me take this new journey in my life. It has been transcendental for them, myself, my family, my friends. It is when you have a light that you can shine and you shine it purposefully with intent, it really brings a lot of value to those around you. So my children, being able to see these particular things and characteristics that I have, it is instilling some great value in their life. And I'm so grateful for that. And
just seeing you take those calculated risks.
Yes. You have to. I mean, little backstory. Prior to the pandemic, that was I have with the age groups, you see the 10 and 8 and then the 3 and 1. So I had the stair steppers and I've done it twice in my lifetime. And being a stay-at-home mom each time just to, make it work for the family. And you kind of lose yourself sometimes when you put everyone else first. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people get a lot of joy and gratification from doing that. But I found that if you lose yourself, you lose your purpose. And then you're kind of, the shepherd guiding the sheep in the wrong direction. I just feel. So I felt like I wanted to be very purposeful with my life. And I wanted to find something that was going to allow me the balance to be able to do that. And working from home, starting a business from home, it gave me those possibilities. It opened up the ability to be able to do what I want when I want, to actually bring my children into the process as well. My 8-year-old, she's a whip, first of all, but she is amazing. She is constantly inquiring, how can I do that? Can you show me how to do this? Can I do that? I want to decorate. I want to do this.
Oh, wow.
I want to be a baker, Mom. I want to be a chef because Dad's the cook. So I'm the baker, Dad's the cook. And it's igniting this and such a young age. And I'm like, man, like if I had something to be that passionate about that young, I mean, where would I be now? Even my son, he is my biggest support when it comes to Calhoun Custom Creations. He has been there from jump.
See him out here all the time.
Yes, he has been there from jump. He's at all the vendor events. He's taken, payments. He's moving boxes, setting up tents,
talking to the customers.
Yes, engaging. Yep. He's washing dishes at home. We got lots of dishes, no dishwasher, so he's the bona fide dishwasher. And now I'm seeing a spark in him as well. Like it's developed confidence by bringing him out here just by proxy and putting him in these rooms. Yeah. Like he had, no idea what he was walking into, but just hearing the stories, hearing the testimonials, having people engage him, ask him questions. Yeah. It's really opened up a side of him that I had never seen. And it's such a pivotal point in time in his life. He's 14, he's trying to figure out who he is in the world, where he wants to be in the world.
You're really paving the way for him.
I hope so. That was the goal. Mama. Thank you so much. And another plug, he just recently joined the podcast class. Adriana has the Go Getters podcast class, and it's amazing. It's giving him a passion about something that he wants to do in life. And
confidence.
Yes. Yeah. So if I had never took these steps and these leaps and put myself in these positions, I would not have been able to open those doors for him. So that it makes me really happy.
Cultivating relationships.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Look at that. Mm-hmm. Way to go. I absolutely love that. This kind of transitions and touches on a little bit of self-care. You mentioned how motherhood can sometimes, it's a big burden, right? Mm-hmm. And we are giving so much. And so we can be giving on an empty cup sometimes.
Sure can.
And so how does an entrepreneur, how does anyone, being a mother or not, ensure that they're prioritizing their health, their well-being, their quality of life, So talk to us about what self-care looks like for you. And if that's evolved.
It has evolved. And I think it's an ever evolving creature because we need different things at different points in times in our lives, in different points in times during the day. So you have to me, it is really honing in on that particular level of discipline. Mm-hmm. Motivation is only going to get you so far, right? Yep. Once motivation kind of tinkers out, it's like that discipline is what's going to keep you going every day. Mm-hmm. And when you have a lot of moving parts in your life, you do have to take the time to be intentional about those pieces. Yeah. So my advice to mothers out there is definitely to take the time in the process to write it down, get it out there, get it in front of you in a constructive way. So that way you can see the parts that you're really moving and see how they influence each other. See where you can co-align your goals. You know, we mentioned earlier that social life is really not something I have right now with the young babies, but I am into fostering these relationships and getting out into the community. So that is kind of filling that cup for me. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of be able to tell sometimes that things are guised under other initiatives. And if you can really co-align what it is that you want in your life, mm-hmm. you're able to kind of branch that out into all the elements of your life. So now like the entrepreneurship has taken over with my family. It's getting a spark into my husband. My sister has started a business and I'm helping her. Yes. Called it crochet. Yes. She started a crochet business and she's doing amazing. And I learned so much over the last 2 years that I was able to help her streamline that process and really make sure that she got the foundational elements of her business in order so that she didn't have to really worry about it so much and focus. And it's hard. I mean, like when you think about all of the elements of a solopreneur, right? And everything that you have to do, it's putting on so many different hats and ones that you've never even tapped into before. Yeah. So for me, that's why I spread the information. That's why I'm so open. And that's why I'm into that connectiveness and that communicator skill in my life, because I think that sometimes people struggle with verbalizing their intentions and struggle with relaying information, and it's not because they don't want to, it's just because they don't know how. So if I can open that ability, maybe even saying no when it's appropriate, right? Being able to say no, that's an important part of self-care too, is you have to realize when your thresholds, you know, and when it's time to really just concentrate on those particular moving parts. If you know the balance is off, you have to recalibrate those scales at times. And I do a recalibration weekly, if I'm honest with you, because I do slip into the mode of life sometime. And, you know, I might not be, wash day was last night. Okay. and I hadn't had wash day in almost a month, and my hair was dry and it was brittle. And I'm realizing, listen, I'm throwing it up in a ponytail. I'm going out to all these events and I'm not feeling my best self. So I'm like, listen, you have to schedule that time for wash day and get it done. And something so trivial and so small, but it made me, you see me today, right? And especially establishing that for everyone else in your life. When you can be that leader, it really helps other individuals being able to aspire to that kind of status quo that you set. So I really pride myself on that as much as I possibly can, and instilling that in the children that, you have to take the time to care for yourself, whether that be meditation, whether that be, you can binge if you want. If binging takes you out of reality for a little minute so you can come back and work harder, then do that. It doesn't, give yourself grace. Don't let outside judgments and perspectives make you feel like you have to do something a particular way. If it satiates you and it's productive and it leads to the betterment of your life and those around you, do it.
You know what? I hope people are writing this down.
Yes.
Give yourself grace. You heard it. This is just such a fantastic conversation. Oh my goodness. I want to know maybe what's ahead, looking into the future, what's up in the horizon for Calhoun Custom Creation? What can we expect? Talk to us more about, that exciting next level, I guess, for you. Yes. What does that look like? And how do we continue to support you? Of course. You mentioned the social media handles, but how do we really get to support you?
So for me, I have a lot of lofty goals, and I'm trying to figure out exactly how to implement everything that I want to do. Yeah. I do want to eventually expand to a brick and mortar in the city, so that way I can kind of really foster that connectiveness and find like a cultural hub for individuals and creatives to come and really glorify their successes and in life. So that's why right now I am spending a lot of time fostering relationships with other small businesses, local entrepreneurs, and I want to build that community. And that way, when I'm able to implement the things that I want to do, I do have that support. So if I could say, just follow me, stay up to date on what we got going on, and just be prepared to see some really amazing things in the future. I want to get into retail. We have a shortage for bakers in the area, so we need some retail for supplies. My cookie classes, I've been cultivating my cookie classes as of recently. And yeah, I have one next month, and I'm targeting mostly children, but I'm trying to target the adult ages as well. I want to do some mommy and me type things.
Hold on a second. Yes. You can't just drop that in there.
Yes.
What is going on? Tell us more about the cooking classes.
Yes.
What is that?
So I was so hesitant in the beginning to do it because I felt like I needed this whole elaborate curriculum and it was just going to be this big monster to take on. But I just realized, just like what I said to you earlier, just put your foot out there. Just do it. Just start it. You have to start somewhere. So I started with a group of my daughter's friends. I just brought everybody together and I, tried some things out. And it went well. I got so much great feedback from the children. And I was like, listen, let's turn this into a class. So I scheduled one of the actual, my daughter's friend's mother was like, I want to do this for my daughter's next birthday. So she's got one coming up in 2 weeks. And that's going to be extremely fun. And then that just really got my idea going. Me and Solara, which is my sous chef, my 8-year-old, we experience a lot of camaraderie through baking. And I realized that opportunity to share that with your children it's beautiful. It's intense. It's fun. It's motivational. It's fostering creativity in your child. So I'm focusing right now on really developing those mommy and me classes with cookies, cupcakes, and I've reached out to a couple of different programs. I'm trying to get into Say Yes and a couple other different things so I can really tap into the Buffalo Public Schools and the children that are out here that wouldn't necessarily have access to luxurious types of events and things of that nature. So I'm trying to find a way to bring it to the people.
Wow, that's truly inspiring. Oh my goodness, the sky's the limit with you.
It sure is. You know it.
We're so thrilled to have you. I'm so glad you've been part of the IC success journey. Even more so now that you're a mentor, being able to help. I know Thomas is your mentee, being able to help him, supporting him. And he's talking about you so highly in class. So it really makes a difference.
Thomas. Thank you.
We're so proud of you. And I think there's so much that you can continue offering in terms of just the journey that you had, inspiring mothers, inspiring anyone, in fact, that's juggling and wondering, if entrepreneurship is for them. And so just want to thank you for being so inspirational today and sharing all those positive gems. If there is anything that you feel like you have in terms of like just having that superpower outside of, being an amazing entrepreneur, a rock star mom, a great friend, a mentor, what's another superpower or something that we don't know about Raquel that you can tell us?
Like I said, I'm a creator. I'm an innovator. So I find ways to do that, whether it be baking, DIY. I write music. I was into poetry. And, like I said, we're ever evolving. So there are assets of ourselves that sometimes we kind of put on the back burner and they're always there underlying, but then it takes like a driving force or something to really just spark it off and bring it back into the forefront of your life. So juggling motherhood, what I would say is the one thing that has made it difficult to be able to really hone in on all that you have to offer. But I think the ability to take the time and think about what brings the most value to you in your life at that particular point is a superpower, because it's not like you're giving up on something. It's just not right now, right? Yeah. But eventually. Awesome. And I know that I have so much more to do in my life, to conquer in my life, to see in my life. So
excellent.
Don't think it's over till it's over, y'all.
Right. It's not. Raquel, thank you so much for locking in with us today at Talking Cities. We cannot wait to continue following your journey, but this is just the start. We wish you all the best, and stay tuned, everybody. There's a lot of ways you can get engaged with Raquel. Raquel, maybe one more time, tell us the social media handles, and we're going to wrap it up there.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show today. I'm so appreciative to be a part of the IC Success and BNMC family. And you guys can all follow me at Calhoun Custom Creations LLC, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Thank you for listening to the Talking Cities podcast with Matt Enstis and friends. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on all podcast streaming platforms. Talking Cities is brought to you by the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, dedicated to furthering economic growth, igniting urban revitalization, and building a strong, thriving community. Using our mutual city methodology, we foster conversation and collaboration among anchor institutions, partners in the community. Together, we address critical issues including job and business opportunities, healthy and active living, entrepreneurship, energy, access, and transportation. The Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, working together to change our city's future.